Magandang araw ka mag-aral. Ako si Sir Bernard, ang iyong guro at gabay sa inyong pag-aaral dito sa Grade 6 Mathematics. Ihanda na ang iyong papel, lapis at module at tayo ay mag-aaral. Our lesson for today, the different types of proportion. After going through this lesson, you are expected to illustrate and understand the concept of ratio and proportion. There are three types of proportion: the direct proportion, the inverse proportion, and partitive proportion. Let us study direct proportion. Direct proportion. As one quantity increases, the other quantity increases at the same rate and vice versa. So, ano ang ibig sabihin nito? Kung ang isang quantity daw ay tataas, yung isang quantity naman na kino-compare natin ay tataas din. At kung yung isang quantity ay bababa, yung isang kino-compare din nating quantity ay bababa. Halimbawa, meron kang 5 halaman na dinidiligan mo ito na gumagamit ka ng 2 timbang tubig. Nung dinagdagan mo ng 5 pang halaman, ang iyong mga dinidiligan, hindi na kasya ang 2 timbang tubig na pangdilig mo. So, ito ay mangailangan ka o magdadagdag ka ng 2 timbang tubig ulit o higit pa o mas higit pa sa 2 ang iyong idadagdag. So, ito ang isang halimbawa ng direct proportion. Nung tumaas ang bilang ng iyong dinidiligan na halaman, magdadagdag ka din ng bilang ng timba ng tubig na iyong pandidilig. At kung ang halaman naman ay babawasan mo, so sobra din ang timbang tubig na pandidilig mo, kaya ikaw ay magbabawas din. So meron siyang direct proportion na tinatawag. Let us have the example of a direct proportion or other example of direct proportion. In a relief operations for typhoon victims, 120 families in the evacuation center had consumed 1,500 kilos of NFA rice for 3 weeks. If there were only 1,000 kilos of NFA rice, how long will the families consume this volume of rice? Let us analyze and study the word problem. From the given situation, we can see that the more the kilos of rice there is, the longer it will last for 120 families. So ano ang ibig sabihin nito? Nung binigyan sila, yung 120 families binigyan ng 1,500 kilos of rice, ay naubos nila ito sa loob ng 3 linggo. At nung binigyan sila ulit ng 1,000 kilo ng bigas, ilan kaya ang weeks o araw na mauubos nila ang bigas? So meron tayong 120 families, binigyan sila ng NFA rice na 1,500 kilos, and in 3 weeks, naubos nila ito. And then, 1,000 kilos of rice again. And the question is, ilang linggo nila ito matatapos o mauubos? So, mapapansin nyo dyan na pag bumaba yung bigas na binigay sa kanila, sigurado bababa din. Bakit? Kasi mas mabilis nilang kumuunti yung bilang ng kilo ng bigas. Siyempre, bibilis din yung araw na mauubos nila ito. At kung ito man ay tataas, halimbawa maging 2,000 kilos of rice, syempre yung 3 weeks madadagdagan din yung pagkonsumo nila. So, hahaba ang pagkonsumo nila doon sa bigas. Kung bababa, mas mabilis ang pagkonsumo. Pag tataas yung kilos of rice, hahaba din ang pagkonsumo nila sa bigas. So, merong tinatawag na direct proportion. Kung tataas yung kilos of rice, tataas din yung number of weeks. Pag bababa yung kilos of rice, bababa din yung number of weeks. Now, let us solve. The given 120 families in the evacuation center. Meron tayong 1,500 kilos of NFA rice for 3 weeks to consume. And then 1,000 kilos of NFA rice for how many weeks to consume? At yan yung hinahanap o isosolve natin dito sa ating word problem. Let us use the ratio and proportion. The ratio, the number of kilos of rice to the number of weeks. So it will be number of kilos of rice is to the number of weeks equals to the ratio of the number of kilos of rice is to the number of weeks. So remember, ang ating proportion ay direct proportion. So let us substitute the given value. So the number of kilos of rice, yung una ay 1,500 kilos and they consume it in 3 weeks. And 1,000 kilos of rice for how many weeks? And this will be our proportion. We have now 1,500 kilos of rice is to 3 weeks equals to 1,000 kilos of rice to n. Yung n, yun yung hinahanap natin o yun nating isosolve. So, ulitin ko, sabi ko nga, it is a direct proportion. So, what are we going to do? We were going to apply the law or the rule of proportion, the cross multiplication, or the product of the means is equal to the product of the extremes. So, cross multiply, we have now 3 weeks times 1,000 kilos and 1,500 kilos times n. So we have now 1,500 kilos n equals 3,000 kilos weeks. So makita nyo ito, sinulat ko pa rin yung mga words or units para makita nyo kung paano sila mamaya mawawala. So we have now to eliminate the 1,500 kilos kasi ang gusto lang natin maiwan ay yung n. At itong n ang ating isosolve. So we will divide both sides or we will divide this one by 1,500 kilos. And since we will divide this with 1,500 kilos, we will divide also the 3,000 kilos weeks by 1,500 kilos. Then we cancel this one because it will give us 1,500 kilos divided by 1,500 kilos is equal to 1. And 3,000 kilos weeks divided by 1,500 kilos, we will have 3,000 divided by 1,500. So, ang maiwan na lang, yung n equals 2 weeks. Therefore, 1,000 kilos of NFA rice will be consumed in 2 weeks. So, this is a good example of a direct proportion. We will see now that when 1,000 kilos is given to the 120 families, they will consume it in 2 weeks. Why? Because it is lesser than 1,500. So, bumaba yung kilos of rice, bumaba din yung number of weeks na pag-consume nila. At kung ito ay tataas, yung kilos of rice, tataas din yung number of weeks na pag-consume nila. And this is called the direct proportion word problem. Thank you! At muli, ito si Sir Bernard, ang iyong gabay at guro sa araw nito na nagsasabing, mag-aral ng mabuti upang umunlad ang sarili. Paalam!